We can cancel that gym membership we didn't go to.
Exactly.
Stop
Exactly.
paying for it.
I'm saving like $40 a month because I canceled mine, right? Really look at where your card is saved. What are we spending on?
Kevin, are you looking at my account?
I can't say that I have been.
Hey, this is Shay.
And this is Carrie,
Welcome to the Pocket Change Podcast.
where you'll learn better ways to spend, save, and invest and take control of your financial journey. So today, Shay, we have a guest who might be recognizable. He is on our current series, All the Money in the World. He's good at making people laugh.
Yeah, he's had some fun guests that he's interviewed and done a couple videos. So, but he's going to share more about different people's financial journey and some financial advice that he can give to our listeners. So we're excited to see what he has to say today.
And maybe even some financial regrets, or maybe not. I don't know. You'll have to tune in to see.
That's right.
We're excited to welcome our guest, one of our financial champions here at Leaders Credit Union, Kevin Morgan. Welcome to Pocket Change, Kevin.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So you've had a unique path into financial services. Can you share a little bit about how you got here?
Yeah, so I moved back to Jackson after being away for a little bit, graduated from Union, and wanted to work there again. I had a great time, great experience being a Bulldog. I was an RA there during my time as a student and loved Res Life so much, I wanted to come back and work as a resident director. So luckily there was an open position and had a great time, worked there for 5 years. It was a real good experience. When I came back to Jackson, I had never heard of Leaders, didn't know what Leaders was, just sounded like, okay, yeah, go Leaders. Sounds like a good place, but I had no idea what Leaders was. And, you know, I was like every other guy in Jackson. I had a account at another bank and, you know, just hadn't really looked into it, but I'm glad that I did hear about Leaders, glad to find out about the credit union way and kind of differences and all that, but it's been a great experience. And it was just kind of a random happening. I was at Bible study one morning at church and, you know, I got there a little late, so my normal table was full and I was like, I won't, you know, try to squeeze in there. I'll just go to a different table, meet some new guys. And sat down and just kind of did Bible study. Nothing was out of the ordinary. And then the next couple days, I get a text. I was like, who's this from? What is this? And it's Karen Freeman. She texted me, hey, you don't know me, but you know my boss. And I was like, whose boss do I know? Whatever. So I read the text. She signs it, Karen Freeman, COO. And I was like, I don't know a whole lot, but I know if you're the COO and you have a boss, that's the big dog. So apparently I had sat at a table with Todd Swims at this Bible study, and the rest is history.
Wow.
And you're here now. What do you do for us here at Leaders?
Yeah, so I am one of the AVPs of Branch Operations. So I manage the branch that is in front of the mall on Old Hickory and Highland.
Yeah. And so a little bit of a shift from going to serving students, but now serving members, you know. And so how do you think your background working with college students helped you in this role? Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's one of those things that can feel really different on paper, but when you get into the nitty-gritty of actually working, it's more or less the same. You know, it's just serving people. They come in with maybe an issue or a question or, hey, I don't know about this. What kind of advice do you have or something like that? And then you just kind of, with the best of your knowledge and ability, serve them, help them with with whatever is going on, whatever you can help them with. But I think one of the best things that I learned in my past jobs and can transfer to Leaders is just having difficult conversations. You know, the stakes are really high when you're talking about people's money. And oftentimes I think people really, really, really need their answer to be, you know, what they're expecting or what they're hoping for.
Right.
And as much as we like to serve members and do everything we can, bend over backwards, sometimes the answer is just no when they hope it's yes, or yes when they hope it's no. And having those difficult conversations is something that I feel like residence life at Union has prepared me for.
Well, and I think, you know, you meet people at all different life stages, and especially students, they're at a certain life stage where they're transitioning into college or out of college. And now you're helping people on different life stages of their financial journey, so that plays a big part into that too.
Yeah, absolutely. It does.
And speaking of that, so what are some of the common problems that you are able to help people with on their financial journey?
Yeah, one of the most common ones I think is maybe just like the mental part of financial management and how they're able to think about and organize their banking. A lot of people come in and if they have a new account with us, they're wondering how do we kind of make the app do the best that it can, to get their bang for their buck on the app. Or had a couple members actually I've done this for, they wanted to have a spending account and a bills account, right? So setting up 2 checking accounts so that they could kind of see differently, okay, this is what I have, this is for bills, and this is separate, and this is for, daily spending and things like that. So the organizational part of financial management, I think, has been a really good common thing that I've seen people, and just kind of talking with people, I learned, okay, some people like to do it this way. So maybe that's something I can suggest the next time someone asks about, hey, what about this? Or what do you think of this? So I think just the mental organization of how do we set up our money.
Yes.
And what about, a lot of people have questions about budgeting?
Yeah, budgeting is a big one. We have so many wonderful members, and there's all types of needs, right? The spectrum from what do we do? We're starting out, I'm 18 years old and I have no idea what I want to do. Or folks that are, past their working years and they're thinking, okay, how do we get the most out of what we have accumulated and what we've saved so far? But I love having the budgeting conversation of you got to start somewhere, whether you're working with a lot or a little. Some kind of budgeting tool is huge. My wife and I can be as simple as just make an Excel spreadsheet, or numbers for Apple people, So we have columns that's just every budget item, and then we kind of input numbers and all that. But if you're more of just a pencil and paper person, you can do that too. That's what I would encourage everyone to do, is just start with something. Because if you're seeing money go out of your account and you can't really keep track of what went where and why that happened or what that charge was or anything like that, that's where I see a lot of people get into the weeds of not knowing kind of where their money is going.
Right.
So budgeting is huge.
So your advice is to track it and use a tool that is relevant to you. Maybe you're the pen and paper person and that works for you, or you're an Excel spreadsheet type of person and you want to plug it in and go. I think that's great, because it is hard when people don't know where their money's going, or they see a charge and are like, what is that?
Right.
When there's so many ways that people can track their money.
Yeah,
Apps
absolutely.
and mobile banking and alerts and all the rest. So I think that's good to start tracking it and do it in a way that's relevant for you.
Right.
Yeah, and to check it as often as makes sense, right? It's one thing to have that budgeting tool, but if you only update it every 2 months, you'll not know what happened last month or whatever. So just make sure you're staying on top of things. And I always advise people, our money is important, but it's not everything. There are people in our lives that we've got to kind of attend to and help and be a part of their lives as well. So I try not to encourage obsession about it, you don't have to check it every hour or anything like that, but just make sure you know what's going on kind of daily, weekly with your money is important. Another thing I like to tell members when they come in, if they have any issues with their card, like card fraud, things like that, it can be really devastating. We've all heard a story or been affected by card fraud, things like that. But the thing I like to focus on with members when they get to my office is, I know this thing happened. It could be, terrible, this thing that, affected your life, but it gives you an opportunity to really look at where your card is saved, what are we spending on, and now that you've got a new card number, you've got to put that card number all the places that that you need to online, whether that's, your Netflix or whatever else, but it gives you an opportunity to take inventory and say, do I really need this and that, or do I need this subscription, or
we can cancel that gym membership we didn't go to.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm saving like $40 a month because I canceled mine, right? It could be something like Uber Eats, DoorDash. If you look through and your statement, or you're just looking through recent transactions and you see DoorDash and Uber Eats and delivery and all that stuff, that could be just a way to save some money. Yeah.
Kevin, are you looking at my account?
I can't say that I have been.
So have you heard about my DoorDash story?
I have not heard that story.
Some might say that it's the biggest regret, but I do not agree with at all.
Okay,
it
tell
was
me about
not a regret. Okay, I just want that for the record.
Okay.
So I was at home sick recently, and my car was in the shop. And the only thing that sounded good to me was nothing but cake. So I DoorDashed nothing but cake. Yeah. And shamefully, a little bit.
Just a little.
The order was $43 for nothing but cake. So
Not just one cake.
Yeah, I got 4 different flavors of the mini bundt cakes, and that
really
was my
small ones.
lunch. And I'm telling you, it made me feel better.
Yeah, and it healed you. So
it healed me. That's exactly. That's what we're gonna
this
go
was
with.
a medical expense.
Exactly.
You had to do it. Right.
That was
Categorized
like a
medical.
copay. Yeah.
I think if it's for your physical health, I think this is totally worth it.
But I have had to, like you're talking about, take inventory, think about these things. It did make me kind of look in and say, maybe I have a problem here. So,
and maybe it's not a problem. Maybe it's just something that you can focus on moderating, right?
well, since I spent $43 on bundt cakes that week, I had to not spend on milk and other things the next week. You have to be, you got to balance it somewhere, right?
Life is balanced. Yeah, but it really does give you an opportunity to look through when you're working on your budget, right, and going through your expenses. You're able to see, okay, well, I don't think I need this, or I don't need maybe the premium version of this. Maybe I can tier down to a normal subscription services, or maybe ads aren't so bad, and I can do, save a couple bucks and just watch some ads or something like that. So
That's great
That's good
advice. So what do you think is most important when you're giving people advice on saving or managing their credit?
Yeah, I think with saving, I would say if you do have an app, a mobile banking app, something like we do with leaders, where you can set automatic recurring savings, that is huge. It's just one less step you have to think about. The money comes in on payday, and then that same day or maybe the next day, just to make sure you still got everything in your account. Just set a recurring transfer so you don't have to think about it, and it's tucked away for later. And I think that's huge for credit building. One of our best tools is the secured share loan or the secured credit card. It's helpful for folks that are kind of just starting out or trying to rebuild credit, because it offers you an option that you're able to put some skin in the game, and you're able to just say, hey, I've got this $500 on deposit. How can we make this work for the members' benefit and help them grow their credit in that way? So we do a lot of those shared secure loans and secured credit cards, and that's a great way for folks to get in that responsible payment habits and responsible credit spending habits as well. Yeah.
So you mentioned secured credit card and a secured loan. Can you tell our listeners what the difference is between those two?
Yeah, so there are secured and unsecured loans. Secured loans have some sort of collateral. Basically, the person asking to borrow the money has some kind of skin in the game, right? Whether that be a vehicle or home, or in this case, money, just actual money on deposit. So if you do a secured credit card or secured loan with us, that would require you to put at minimum $500 on hold so that we could turn that into a loan and say, okay, cool. We know at one point Shay had $500 and we're cool. We know that. And now we can set up this loan so that you can make those on-time payments, build your credit, that kind of thing.
That's great.
That's true, because payment history is the number one factor into the credit score. So if I'm making on-time payments and I'm missing payments, that's going to help me with my score. But we know some people go through life situations and things happen, and sometimes that can affect credit score or hurt a credit score. So what advice or what helpful ways do you give people when they're wanting to build back their credit?
Yeah, I think when you're in a situation like that where, like you said, life happens, sometimes you don't get to, make all the choices you wish you could.
Right.
But our financial counselors are great about kind of giving those where to start tips. And often that's going to involve maybe paying off some things, because you can't get around that. You got to pay off what you owe. But if you pay off what you owe if you start with one of our tools like the secured credit card or share secured loan. Those are the best tools to kind of get off the ground and kind of get on that upward trajectory of getting your credit where you'd like it to be. And, you know, it's not a quick and easy process. No one wakes up with an 800 credit score, but I think there are important factors in the patience of building credit, right? It's not just, oh, cool, I made one on-time payment, now I'm going to check my credit score. It's, okay, yeah, but let's start this into a habit. Let's build the behavior pattern of on time all the time, and then you won't have to think about it, and then you'll see your credit score just kind of rise over time, because it takes months, takes years. These things aren't, like I said, overnight, but having the patience and building those behaviors is what's important.
That's so true.
It's just like, you know, we talk about weight loss or anything like that, something that's easy to gain but harder to lose, just like credit score.
I know all about that.
Easy to lose, hard to gain, and it takes that patience and that determination to do that. So it can be done, but it takes intentionality for sure, and goals.
Consistency too.
Yeah, that's huge. Consistency is huge. It's, you know, we want to see, and we want to be alongside folks on this journey, right? It's great to see the members that I see maybe once a month, and I know they're just doing kind of their normal banking, and I get to see them in branch and say hello. But it's just as nice to see those people that we see every week, you know, and we're like, okay, maybe they need this question answered, or maybe they can adjust things a slightly different way to help benefit them a little bit more. So, you know, we're just glad to be alongside folks on this journey. And, you know, it does take a while, but we move forward together as one. You know?
That's right.
That's right. So you've given us a lot of great financial tips already, but what is some of the best financial advice that you've been given?
Yeah. So as a kid, loved buying Pokemon cards. I don't know why. That was just, you know, the time. But I spent all my money on it. And my parents, at one point or another, I don't know if it was more my mom or dad, but they always encouraged me to oversave for the thing that I wanted to purchase. So, and it was something like, you don't want to have what you wanted and still be broke, you know, because I could have the Pokemon cards I wanted, but then, you know, there's nothing left, you know? So I really took that to heart and ran with it into adulthood. Is, you know, I don't want to just save that $5 for that one thing and then buy that one thing. Let's save $20, and then, you know, you've got cushion and all that.
That's so smart.
Yeah, it's been huge. But I think as I've gotten older, one of the more adult living sort of practices or pieces of advice I've gotten is to start a Roth IRA, make regular contributions, and leave it alone. Don't think about it. Don't worry about it. It's so crucial, even if it hurts a little bit and it stings and it feels like a sacrifice, making those contributions regularly to an IRA is going to be huge later down the line.
It goes back to that patience. Just let it sit, let it ride, and when you're ready to retire, it'll look nice for you.
There it goes, yep.
All right, so we must ask, it's the Pocket Change Podcast. If you found some extra change in your pocket, what would you spend it on?
Yeah, so I was around the house the other day, and I just looked, you know, where you have that end table, you put all your stuff on. I had maybe 13 cents, you know, and I looked at it, I was like, I don't know if this is worth anything. I don't know. What should I even do with this? I just leave it there and wait till it accumulates more and more and more. And then like, ooh, maybe I'll have $1, right? Yeah. But if I had some extra pocket change, I would go to Chick-fil-A.
Okay. Well, and what's your order at Chick-fil-A?
My order at Chick-fil-A, yeah. Gosh, it's so good. Chick-fil-A is so good. I just want to, for anybody that's a Chick-fil-A hater, I think you're wrong.
Don't listen to this episode.
Right. Yeah. Just, you know, pause
Don't
it,
listen
mute
to
it,
this,
whatever
this
you need to do.
podcast, because we all talk about Chick-fil-A.
But my order at Chick-fil-A is a Chick-fil-A sandwich with American cheese and an 8-count nugget.
All right. All the protein.
Loaded chicken.
All right. Well, thanks, Kevin, for joining us today and sharing all the tips and what it's like to be the AVP at the North Highland branch.
I appreciate you guys having me. Thanks.
We'll take you to Chick-fil-A soon.
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, I'll message you. We'll get there.
Sounds good.
Thanks for tuning in to the Pocket Change podcast.
Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe, and check out our full episodes on YouTube.
The Pocket Change podcast was brought to you by Leaders Credit Union,
where we power your passion and make lives better. Cha-ching!
I live on my feet at North Highland, so this is fine. If you changed everything, it is what it is.
I want to get that story out. It's so
Get it
funny.
out. The people need to know.
The people.
The people. This is what we do it for, the people.
All our listeners. Leaders is federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Learn more at leaderscu.com.